Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Adrian with another release for Avo. We're releasing 2.31 today, so let's get into it. We did something new this time. Instead of waiting for all the new things to pile up, we made some patch releases. So we have like 2.30.1 and 2.30.2, and we introduced some things that maybe broke Avo, but we'll see how it goes. We're trying new things, so you don't have to wait for all of the things coming to like every 2 weeks. So let's get into it. Another approach on attachments, field level authorization. So this is basically before we had these methods on the Pundit policies, like upload attachments, download attachments, and delete attachments, which would regulate all of the attachments for one resource. So if you had, let's say, project resource, if now we have this files field, let me just do it like this. If you had this files field, but also you have a file field, then upload attachments would apply the same rule to both of them. And now what we changed is we removed this upload attachments method and added these upload important documents. So basically this would be upload file or upload files, and then the same for download and delete method. So now they are, let me just find the documentation, authorization. So now they are, you can see them here. So upload and field ID, download and delete field ID. And actually this was added, I think, in 2.28. But now in this release, we removed these general methods, and we did that because there were some race conditions there, and it was just a little bit too difficult to understand in the first place and to maintain for us. So now these general methods are off. You should remove them from your policies and make sure you are implementing these special methods for each individual association in part. Yeah, so this is another approach. Next, we updated nokogiri. Allow field visible false. Yeah, so this was a bug on our end. If you wanted to do like visible false, this would just not work because we used present or something like that. Now it's fixed, it will work. Disable sorting on ID field. This came from Paul, I think. So basically, if you wanted to disable the sorting on the ID field, you couldn't do that. And now you can. Let me find another one. So ID, you can do sorting, but on users, you can disable that. So that is fixed. Another approach I want to, okay, this one, I think is the same one. Yeah, we have, oh yeah, it's the same one as on refactoring. Moving on to 2.30.2. Remove orphan closing from SVGs. Thank you so much, Jim. So we had some issues on some SVGs. They weren't closed properly, and now they are fixed. They are. Tailwindcss generator. Yes, this was broken when I did some tests. Now this works, and the way it works is when you do Rails generate Avo install. Actually, it's Avo tailwindcss install. When you're running this command, now it will run properly and it will work. It was a little bit broken. Sorry about that. Avoid formal manipulation on non-visible fields. So Paul worked on this. It came from Paul from Green Hats. So I think so, huh? Is it? Yes, from Paul from Green Hats. So the gist was that if you had this is a security vulnerability. So let's go inside here and let's just do this one. Let's just use the name field. So if you had this field, let's just say visible, and you have something like this, and then some condition which would return false. If this returned false, this would be hidden. This field would be hidden from the DOM. But if a bad actor would have intercepted the request of update or the update or create and add something to this field, now this would be added to that model. So basically, even though you had it hidden, it would still be, used as an exploit by a bad actor. So this PR fixed that. Well, and this introduced another issue. So now when you do visible and you say something like resource.model, and maybe you had something like enabled, for example, now this model will be, because we are running this visible block in the create method and the update method, when you do it in the create method, this model is nil. So now you have to do something like this. We're still looking into options, how we can do that. But the fact of the matter is we need to run this block when we do on the create and on the update methods. One possibility is to have this model just an instantiated model of this resource. So it will be like a blank project. I'm not sure how much that would help. But until then, until we fix that, and probably in the next release, you should just go like this, or do something like if, I don't know, resource model.present, do something, do this, or otherwise just put it false or whatever. So yeah, it's, it's not the best thing ever, but in order to be able to do something and fix that security issue, we had to introduce this breaking change. So yeah, but this security issue is now fixed. Next, add helpers for encoding, decoding filter parameters. Thank you so much, Jim, again. So now you can, if you want to, like, for example, from an action, let's say you're in an action and you're doing something. Let's do toggle inactive. After you run this, maybe you want the user to be redirected to like the index screen, but with a filter set. And as you might know, when you set a filter, you have this filters parameter, and this is a JSON encoded and a base64 encoded parameter. And now, thanks to Jim, thank you so much, we have these methods which are called, decode filter params. So these are the helpers, or you can use the direct methods out of the base filter. So decode filters and encode filters to get like that URL, or get back from that URL of the filters and figure out what values the filters are. So if you ever wanted to do that, now you can. So thank you so much, Jim, for this addition. Going forward, files view type. Yes, again from Paul from Green Hats told us this. So let me go back and just undo everything, because this is why this is crashing, and refresh. Come on, let's pick up this project. Before we only had this view, the grid view for the files, and now we have this list view, which will show you the file name. If you have like a long file name, you'll have this nice scroll bar. You'll see the file type, the size of the file, and you can now download or delete this file. And this works just perfectly. So thank you, Paul, for nudging this. And now for the things that we need to release today. So this one is, from Steve. Thank you so much, Steven. So Vue component version 3 was released, I think, yesterday. And they fully deprecated the some slot setter methods, which we didn't do anything before. We could have done something, so sorry about that. But now, basically, what this PR does is changed all of our setters, all of our setter methods to actually work with the V3 API slots. So if you go into our issues, if you see something like, I'm going to show you in just a second, like this, where you don't get some content inside your main view, that's because Vue component 3 was released, and this is what was installed in your app, and we haven't pushed this, this fix out. So now this push is out. There's one thing you need to check out. So let's see, gem spec. We are now enforcing, in order to use these new these new setter methods, we are now enforcing Vue component 2.54 and up. So you can still use view component 2, you can still use view component 3, but if it's 2, it must be higher than 2.54, right? So yeah, this is a tiny breaking change, but it's all for the better because, you know, we need to keep up with the times. We're not enforcing view component 3, you can still use 2, but it has to be 2.54 and up. Next, ActiveStorage current URL options should not be set as a hash. Again, Steven, thank you so much for this. So basically, we had a place where we set the URL options as a string, but actually it was supposed to be set as a hash. I'm not sure how it worked before. I used it with a file driver and then other drivers, it just worked, but it seems that for AL7, it doesn't anymore, but whatever. Now this is fixed, so if you ran into that issue before, now it should be okay. Cool. Fix read-only as a proc. So Paul found this as a regression whenever you would try to use read-only as a block, it would break the updatable attribute, and now that is fixed. Inherit association from policy. So this is a good one. This is a very cool one. So what happened was, I'm going to go to the team policy. If you remember how authorization works with Avo, is that you have this policy class which will dictate the authorization levels for a certain resource. And now you have access to like index, show, edit, update, and so on. So everything from the main resource. But whenever you are in a record, you also can control whatever the user can do on their association. So for example, we have view team members, show team members, and the team members are these ones, right? So you can control whether they can edit, detach, delete, or they can view them, or they can view this whole panel or whatever. So, and before you had to do something like this, like view team members, and then you would say, hey, you return true or false or whatever. And now, but maybe you have a members policy somewhere. I don't have it here, but maybe you have a members policy and you want to declare the same things everywhere. So maybe you'd say, okay, for every, so the team members are users, so you have a user policy. So maybe if you want to say update false on a user, so nobody can update it, or you have a certain rule like user.isAdmin. This would influence the users here. So now this edit button should be hidden. So let's say false. Actually, let's just return that. False. And now this is hidden. So now you cannot see the edit button. But inside the team members, which is still a user, you can still see. Actually, you can't. Why is that? So edit. Edit team members. Okay. Yeah, because this was fixed here. So this would be, let's say, true. Now, the other one, so the user policy does not influence the association policy. So this has the edit button, but you don't really want that. What you can do is do this, like you find a ponded policy for that user, for that record actually, and then you say whatever is passed here on the edit or here, that's what you should use on this one, right? So this would be like policy method forwarding, right? And this is cool and all, but now we introduced a new method. So you first have to include this policy helper concern. So you do this here. You can do that. You can import it, include it inside the application policy. So let's find the application policy. You can just include it here. And now we have this inheritance method, and you can do something like this. Inherit us from association from policy and say team members here, because this is the key user resource. I'm just going to show you. It's actually team resource. So it's actually team members. This is the ID of the field. So you say team members, and then you say, okay, use the user policy, right? And this method will create all of these methods for you with this, forwarder attached. So now if I just comment these out and hit save, I should get this edit button gone from, and it is gone. So now if I go to my user policy and update, I'll say true, this will influence the team members as well. See, so now it's forwarding all of these methods from the user policy to the team members policies here. And now this is all you have to do. And now if you need to override it, you can just override it and say true and whatever, and this will just work. So it's a nice quality of life improvement. I know some of you guys requested this in the past or thought this should be, default behavior, but there are a few cases where we don't want to enforce that by default. So now you can do this and you don't have to create all of these methods by yourself. It will just do it for you. Cool, and that's about it for our release today. So again, check out that visible block that I told you that is a breaking change, and then make sure that your app works with view component 2.54 and upward. So these are the breaking changes. Next, we have two PRs. So I joked about this. It's going to be the month of the map for Avo. So introduced a new field. Let me just find it in the docs. So last release or the release before introduced this location field where you can have a location based on coordinates. And now we have two PRs in the making. So we have this area map feature where you'll have the same map kick map, but with an area, so you can highlight an area on the map. So this is really cool. And another one, so thank you so much for this. This is from Roman. Yes, Roman K. Thank you so much for this. And Jim, he did this. He spearheaded. I don't have. Okay, so this would be a screenshot. Yeah. So what he did was created an index view where you can have a map available. So basically, when you go on the users, if the users have coordinates, you'll have a map here, somewhere around here, I think, and that will add the pins from those resources, the resources that you have here, they will be available on the map. So that is amazing. It's on my plate to review. We had some good, going forward, we had a few back and forwards about what should this feature have, or what should it have in the first iteration or in the next iteration and so on. So I am very appreciative. Thank you so much, Jim, for making this happen. I wanted to build this for a long time. Yes. And of course, thank you so much, Roman K, for making this happen. So this could be the month of the map, for Avo, but it's on me to review these, and I'll probably review this today or tomorrow, maybe I think tomorrow. And tomorrow I'll maybe issue a minor release with a patch release for these two fields. So I'm sorry, they're not going to be in 231.0, but maybe 231.1 very, very soon. So this is cool. We have a few good first issues and a few issues that we added, help wanted. Let me just add the same tag here. So what is it? So use translations in Avo as fallback if the user does. Okay, so this one, whenever you generate a new app, it will generate all the locale files for Avo, which we don't really want. I think we can have them in the background as a fallback, and if you want to override them, you can do that. Add tabs functionality to actions. This was something requested by one of our customers, so we'd love to have that. So whenever you start an action, you can have some tabs here. What else? Mounting Avo to a subdomain. So this is a conversation. So if you did this before, so Piero Dotti has this issue where they want to mount Avo up to a subdomain. I know this is possible. Thank you so much, Ricky, for chiming in. I think we're now waiting for a reproduction, repo to see what's working and what's not. But to be honest, I think that should be working. Yes, and there are a few more. This is a JavaScript thing. Reorder records using drag and drop. So if you used drag and drop before and you want to improve this thing that we have right here, so we have move up, move down, or move to top, and you could help us, you can just drag and drop this. That'd be amazing. So go and find this help wanted label on the issues or good first issue, and you'll find a few things to do here. So thank you so much for that. You might have noticed the sign up for Avo 3 beta program. So if you think you have what it takes, again, it doesn't mean you have to have anything. So we ask a few questions to just figure out what kind of like Avo user you are. And we have, I think, about 20 responses, to be honest. Let me see. 18 responses so far. So let me just go back. I don't want to show any emails or anything. So yes, we have about 18 responses. We'll start rolling out the beta. I think this week, maybe later this week. This is my main thing. What I'm doing right now is writing the upgrade guide. So this would be, it's a very work in progress upgrade guide where I give like some, instructions on what needs to be changed. We'll probably have a migration script at some point, but not right now. So if you're like a hardcore Avo user and you like living on the edge, just, fill up this form, because we'd love to, kick some tires and figure out what's good for Avo 3 and what's not. So we're going to have this rolling, Avo 3 beta program. Otherwise, probably noticed that I visited the PLROG, so it's Polish Ruby user group. So thank you so much, Visuality, Marius, and Pavel, to have me there. It was a blast. It was amazing. We learned so many new and cool things, like everybody. And we also had a workshop, and I think everybody just, figured out like Avo. I think having this kind of like a master course, like an 1 hour presentation. I made this really cool presentation about Avo. Like we have a few slides and then about like the problem and the solution. And then we have, I go and do some live coding. And I think this really makes gives people that aha moment that they need, like, hey, oh my god, this is how Avo helps us. That is just perfect. I thought it was something else. So we had a lot of these, we had a lot of this feedback where like, oh, I thought it did something else, but now I truly understand. Or like, oh, we started a project and we needed this, and we hired a front ender and a designer and everything else, but now we don't need it. So we don't need them that much. So having this kind of like a masterclass or a presentation really helps out for the whole community. And so I would like to do these kinds of things more. So if you have like a user group or a meetup or maybe a tiny conference you'd like to invite me, or even like if you have like a Ruby software house and you'd like to have me and do this kind of like training session, I would love to come and to share more. So I think this really, is better than any type of like, smart copywriting I have on the website anywhere. So definitely like give me a call if you need that. And finally, I just had a call with my good friends from like Lucian, Jakob, and Alex about Friendly RB. And I know it's been a bit of radio silence since, Yoruko came up and Rails World came up. So now if you go to Ruby conferences, of course, you'll see like, ooh, this is such a big freaking list. So we have like Wrocław, and then Yoruko, and then Friendly, and then Rails World, all like in 4 consecutive weeks. And I know it's difficult. It's difficult for everybody to, to attend to all of them. I know I'm not sure if I could do them all. I'm trying, but I would like to do them all. And I know there's like a big competition. Yoruko is very big and Rails World is also big, but Friendly is a little bit different. So what we're trying to do here is create a new community, and the only way we can do it is in real life. So this is not going to be, I think Friendly is never going to be like this big 600 attendees conference. It's going to be small every time. It will give you the opportunity to, meet the people on the stage, because we're going to have some activities together. It will give you the opportunity to be on the stage, because we want to bring some newcomers there. I know how important that is. And it will talk about a lot of subjects from winding from, tech to mental health, community, diversity, and we definitely want to have like a different type of event than Rails World or Uruko. So if you want to come to a nice cozy event and meet us all and be part of this cool new community, definitely hit us up, because we're gonna have some news in the coming weeks. And yeah, I know we're gonna have like the best the best event ever. We're gonna have some cool swag and cool activities, and I'm sure you're gonna leave friendly and be very happy that you've been there. So coolio. So stay, follow our Twitter account. We have a, where is it? So Twitter and Mastodon friendly RB. So definitely check it out and subscribe to our updates. Otherwise, short Ruby, go for it. Again, Lucian did an amazing job. He split the newsletter in two. So you have the code and the content edition. If you like it, tell him about it. If you hate it, tell him about it. He really wants to know about your feedback. If this is good, this is worse, this is better. So definitely check it out. Yarrow has has been pushing out content, and now he is contemplating creating a video course out of their API videos and guides. So again, if this is something you'd like to see, go hit this button, comment, and say, yes, perfect. No, I don't want that. So yeah, go and subscribe to them as well. Otherwise, Greg, he's on a roll. So again, with his new Rails tricks newsletter, active support helpers configuration, this is very cool. He does not, I don't want to say deep dive, but he does enough of a deep dive to show you about these active support helpers and other things. So go check it out. It's actually railstricks.com, and go and subscribe. A lot of like good content out there. So yeah, I think this concludes our release for today. I think we covered a lot, like a lot of like new things coming to Avo. We said we're going to stop, and we are going to stop because we really want to push out Avo 3. So we're going to start saying no to requests like, hey, we're going to fix that, or we have that fixed in Avo 3. So we'll just do that. Otherwise, I've been listening to this Hackers Incorporated podcast, which if you're like an indie hacker, a bootstrapper, you're an aspiring entrepreneur, I highly recommend it. It's by Ben Ornstein, you might know them, and Adam Wadman. And all of the episodes are good, but these last two ones, like, they're amazing. They give you like a very good insight in their thought process and what they learn with their products and their pricing. So go check it out. I know I am inspired because now I'm trying to improve the pricing for Avo. We have the community version, which is free. It has probably 70%, if not more, of the content of all the value. Then we have the pro version, which costs like a small fee per year. And now we added so many things in Avo 2, and we added a few more things in Avo 3. And now I'm thinking, okay, we need to increase the price because we are working a lot more on it and we have a lot more maintenance. But we are trying to do this in such a way that it doesn't impact everybody, and it doesn't, it has the least impact, but it also makes sense, right? So now we're thinking about, a lower subscription fee, maybe a lower subscription fee, but with a higher initial price, Now we're thinking about like a one-time payment. You pay one time and you have all of the updates forever for Avo 3. And we are even considering an unlimited license plan, where you pay like a higher fee and you get a lot more licenses under your belt. And we still haven't yet decided on what those plans are, what those numbers are, but I think it will make more sense. So it will still cater to the small developer, small individual developer that starts their business maybe on Avo, or just needs it to make their business better. It helps the agencies or the developers that are building for other customers, and they just need like, hey, tell me how much you want me to pay you. I want to pay you, and I don't need the subscription because sometimes this customer will not be, subscribed to me. And we have these larger agencies or digital software houses that are building multiple apps, more than like 1 or 2 or 5, or and they need this special plan. So we're trying to cater to everybody. So if you have any ideas, I'd love to get your input on those and see how we can make this like the best thing we can, we can have like the best pricing for everybody, and brings the best value to everyone. So yeah. And I think, that's about it for today. I think it's a lengthy video, of course. Sorry about that. Yeah, and thank you so much for being here, for being our, for watching this, and for being part of this incredible community. I'm stoked, like, from the comments we received on this forum, and the how many people are asking for support on Discord or on GitHub, and like, I'm stoked that this community is growing and this product really helps some painful issues. Cool. I won't keep you any longer. I'm Adrian. Thank you so much for listening to me. Be awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.